In this lab, the front-end cache is URL decoding the URI path before placing it into the cache key. And this is extremely problematic because it means that the homepage is vulnerable to a denial of service attack, and we can continually poison the cache for the homepage and render it unusable. I think that's a lot more impactful than the actual lab solution where we deliver a reflected XSS to our victim, but I'll show that lab solution as well. So let's switch to burp, and I'm going to go to proxy and HTTP history. And we want the GET request for the homepage here. So I'm going to send that to repeater, switch to repeater, and send the request, because the first question we want to answer is this homepage endpoint a cache oracle? And we can see that it is because these three headers are giving away caching related information. We can see that we missed the cache, so the cache has an age of 0 seconds for this cached response, and that the max age here is 10 seconds for cached responses. So if I resend the request, we get a cache miss again, but if I send it again now within 3 seconds, you can see that we get a cache hit, that the age is 3 seconds, so this cache response will expire in 7 seconds. So that means that this homepage endpoint is a cache oracle, and we can continue to use it for our probing. Now let's try adding a cache buster. So I'm going to go to the query string here and just add a query parameter CB with a random value, so cache buster, and then some random input, and resend the request, and we get a cache miss. If I send the request again, we get a cache hit. But if I make a slight modification to the cache buster here and send the request again, we get a cache miss again. So that confirms that we can use the query string here as a cache buster to separate our work from live end users, so we're not impacting them. And it also means that we can invalidate the cached response anytime we want if we're playing around with the payloads that we're sending. Now, before we start looking for unkeyed inputs, I just want to have a quick look to see if we can find our cache buster value here in the response. So I'm going to have a quick look for that. But we get 0 matches, so it's not reflected in the response. So the next thing we want to do is we want to look for unkeyed inputs, and we can use param miner for that. So I'm going to right click, go to extensions, param miner, guess params, and then guess everything in this case. And then you're going to get 4 pop-ups in a row. Just click OK for all of them. You can leave the default values. I'm going to click cancel because I've already ran the scan, because guess everything can take quite a while to finish. So I'm going to cancel all 4 of these. And then under both the professional edition and the community edition, we can find the results under extensions, and then go to param miner, and then go to output. And here are the scan results, but as we can see, no unkeyed inputs were found. And without any unkeyed inputs, the next thing we can look for is normalization behavior by the cache. So I'm going to go back to repeater, and to showcase that the impact that this can have, this vulnerability, is I'm going to remove the cache buster here. But again, in a real situation, I would not recommend doing this because you can have real impact on the application. And I'm going to URL encode the slash here, so it becomes %2f. So I'm just going to go to convert selection, URL, and then URL encode all characters. And I'm going to send this request. And the curious thing is that we now get a 404 not found. And this is originally coming from the backend, because the backend is looking for a literal URI path for %2f, while it only has a URI path for the actual slash, the actual homepage. But if I resend this request just to make sure that we get a cache hit, and then go to the homepage and refresh it, we actually deface the homepage because the cache is URL decoding the URI path before injecting it into the cache. So browsers visiting the homepage with a slash will use the same cache key as the %2f payload that we sent, because the front end is decoding that first, URL decoding that first before placing it into the cache. And we could keep repoisoning the cache to keep the homepage from functioning. So in a real situation, make sure you always have a cache buster. Otherwise, you might seriously impact the application that you're targeting. I think that this exploit is a lot more impactful than the actual reflected XSS that we're doing in this lab, but I'll showcase that as well. So I'm just going to open 2 new tabs to put them at the ready, because we don't have a lot of time when we try to solve the lab, because there is a max H cache time of 10 seconds. So I have the 2 tabs ready now. So I'm going to go back to burp, and then instead of just 2f here, let's append script tag, say alert1, and then close the script tags and send this request. And we can see that this is reflected in the response. So we can see the script tags here, we can see alert1, and the script tags are closed. So if we can send a user to, via phishing, for example, to this URI path with the real slash at the beginning, then we can successfully achieve a reflected XSS attack. So let's set up that attack. I'm going to make sure that I copy the script tags from the script tags to the end of the script tags first to have that in my clipboard. Then I'm going to resend the attack. We get a hit, then go here, append the slash, and paste it, and we get that pop-up. So now let's send that to the victim, copy the link and send it. There we go. And there we go. Congratulations, you solved the lab. So that's it for the reflected XSS. I hope this was helpful to you, and thank you for watching.